welcome to another edition of the Second Half Draft Show. I am your host, Juice, joined by Drew. No Headley this evening. He's out going to win the chip, volleyball chip. You know what I'm saying?
Volleyball chip, bro.
Hey, man, you got to bring the goal home. So no Headley tonight. So Drew and I will hold you down. We have a duel. We typically do like mock draft duels where we're going head to head with the picks. Perhaps I would pick for the AFC teams, you the NFC teams, or odds or evens, whatever the case may be. This time around, we're going to do something a little bit different, a little bit of a twist. We're actually going to do our own individual mock drafts, but at the same time. All right. So we'll be bouncing back between the two mock drafts during this particular live stream. So let's get into it, Drew. Let's get into it, man. Why don't you get us started?
Yeah, man. This is easy for me, man. We're going to take the best player in the draft, Marvin Harrison Jr., to the Bears. This is actually the Carolina pick, unfortunately for them. Things are going in the wrong direction for them. But for the Bears, we're going to get Justin Fields. He's on the squad. He's not going anywhere. Whether coach is fired, GM's out, doesn't matter. We're going to stick with Justin Fields. He's heading in the right direction. He's on an upward trend as far as I'm concerned. And so we're gonna give him a big-time elite weapon, the best player in the draft, the best receiver in the draft, arguably for some. We're going to go with Marvin Harrison Jr., first pick overall.
DK said you got fired, bro. He said you got fired.
Well, I got fired, man.
I think, and we've talked about it previously, and this will be the common thread throughout this, right? Unless Justin Fields is simply on fire over the next few weeks and the team continues to show improvement. They've shown improvement, but like really rally behind Eberflus. I expect Eberflus to be out.
I agree.
Ryan Poles, the GM, might remain. He might not. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. But I'm not really anticipating Eberflus back. And I would imagine. I said Ryan Pace.
Yeah, I did the same thing, bro.
Yeah.
He can do Ryan Pace too.
Poles. Eberflus and Getsy, absolutely, DK. Absolutely. They're going to be on the outs. But I would imagine with a new brain trust, I imagine they're going to go probably offensive-minded head coach. They're going to want their own quarterbacks. Plus, I think there's the contract aspect of things. Justin Fields is inching closer and closer to an extension, right? It's not right on the horizon, but we're getting closer to that.
It's coming around
next year. Yeah, next year they're going to be talking about an extension for him if he's still the quarterback. So I think they probably go in with fresh eyes, get another quarterback on that rookie contract. You have your pick of the litter, right? I think if we were grading these quarterbacks, for me, Justin Fields would be in that 2 or 3 hole for me coming out, right? So Caleb Williams continues to be the top quarterback for me. So I completely understand why D-Kit is suggesting that, you'd be fired in this particular instance. But I'm not mad at the fact that you decided to stick with Justin Fields. I'm a big believer in Justin Fields. I just don't think they've done right by him. He has work to do. By no stretch of the imagination. He absolutely has areas to improve upon, but I simply don't think they've done right by him. And I would be encouraged to see him with continuing to improve that cast around him. Mm-hmm. You've seen the flashes. Get that offensive line right and really see what he's capable of. I think he's a special player, man. I think he's a special player. And he might benefit from just having, a new start, to be perfectly frank. But as far as my mock draft goes, all right, I'm not going to go the Marvin Harrison route. I've already kind of, let the cat out of the bag here. I'm looking to make a trade here, all right? The Bears did it last year. We're going to do it again. And we got D-Kit's Giants climbing the board here. All right.
DK, I was climbing, bro.
Typically, we would expect maybe, the flip-flop ones, you get a 3 and then a 1 next year. That's not going to do it for mock draft database. They're not biting on that. So we're going to give up significant draft capital to get our guy at the top of the draft. We'll get the 1.1 for 1.8. We'll take that second. We'll take a first next year and a 3 next year. All right. That's going to get the deal done in this particular instance. And I think as it relates to the Giants, I think what the Giants have to think about is solving one or two things as opposed to everything, right? Get your quarterback, get your offensive line situated. And I think, part of that calculus, at least for me, includes Evan Neal figuring out, and perhaps a better offensive line coach will help from that regard, but get those guard positions situated. I think the center and left tackle are fine. I think Evan Neal, again, I'm going to put a little bit more faith in him, give him a little bit more time to develop, but get those guard positions situated between free agency and the draft. Let's pull this trade and let's go grab Caleb Williams right at the top.
I'm mad at it.
And another point before we move on here. Daniel Jones obviously has the injury. Off the injury, I'm not sure he'll be ready to begin the season. In fact, I think he'll start the season on the PUP list. He may be back, by week 6, week 8 or so, but I don't expect him to play. We got Caleb Williams in tow, and at the end of the season, we can actually stomach cutting him. The dead cap is around $20 million as opposed to $60 million. I think from that perspective, you have your young quarterback, a more talented quarterback. We've made strides in terms of improving the offensive line, and we'll continue to outfit the rest of this roster in terms of receivers and so on and so forth. So that's the move at 2. It's very simple. Drake May is the pick. I don't expect Belichick to be back, so whomever is at the controls, I think Drake May is the guy there.
All right, Drake May it up. Who you went with first overall? You went with Caleb?
I went Caleb.
And Drake. All right, I got to get on mine. All right. For mine, New England Patriots. I don't expect Belichick to be back. They're saying he's probably going to end up with the Chargers. That would be interesting if he ended up with the Chargers, because I don't think you can screw up that offense. But let me go ahead and I'm gonna.
The Chargers got problems, bro.
They're
$40 million over the cap. Like they got problems.
Yeah, they got a lot of work to do, man. They got a lot of work to do. It's not good. They probably should have cashed in on the talent that they have this year or last year, maybe even the year before. But they are where they are. They are who they are. And the Chargers going to charge, bro. That's just what it is.
Chargers going to
charge, bro. But for New England, I'm gonna give them, since Caleb is still on the board. I think I went Drake May a couple of different times with New England, so I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna go Caleb Williams here, give him a little bit more spice. Somebody can move around a little bit more in the pocket, extend plays, especially if we can't get a receiver here. Obviously, we gotta do the right thing in terms of the quarterback position, because your boy is not getting it done, and so he's just not. It is what it is. But we're gonna get us a Caleb Williams here, man. I don't know who the coach would be. It's interesting to see who the coach would be, because. Sure. How long Belichick been there? Like 20 years, bro. It's crazy. Decades. I don't even know what it looked like without him.
A couple decades, yeah.
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it went from Parcells and Belichick. Those are the only two coaches that I know of coaching the Patriots, right? I know there's been other guys along the way during my lifetime, but those are the only two names that come to mind. So Caleb Williams, the first quarterback off the board in both of these mock drafts. You take him here 2nd overall. What do you do with the 3rd overall pick with Arizona?
With the 3rd overall pick, I'm going to go wide receiver. I'll make it real simple.
Even with Harrison off the board?
Yeah, with Harrison off the board, okay. I still want to go. Let me.
Malik Davis, the top 3? Woo! I love it.
Yeah, you see it?
I love it, bro. Respect. Put some respect on that man name.
They're not respecting. They got Keon Coleman over on Rome Odunze. I don't know what's going on.
I'm not with that. Mr. C. Pressey, what's going on?
I'm not okay with that. And I'm going to upset some folks, man. I'm going to go with the alpha in the room. I'm going to go with the big dog, Rome Odunze, for Arizona Cardinals. I know that hurts your heart.
Overall?
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, we're going to do it, man. We got to do something a little different, man. We didn't do too many mocks, man. I'm not staying par for the course, man. Rome Odunze. This man was out here playing with, I think it was a punctured or a broken rib or something, I heard. So, yeah, man, he's doing his thing, man. So we're gonna do the right thing. He's gonna show out in this playoffs too. People really gonna know the name, bro. I think we said this too earlier in the season in terms of Romeo Odunze and that Washington wide receiver room. That these boys, people gonna know the name by the time the playoff starts, or at least by the Pac-12 championship game. And them boys just keep doing their thing. And he's the he's the main cog in that receiver room, man. So
I know you and Headley have been on Odunze over Neighbors. Neighbors being a close third for you two for quite some time. I love Rome Odunze. I'm not taking him third overall, though. I'm not taking him before Malik Neighbors personally, but I think he's going to be a terrific. I think he's going to be a terrific receiver, right? I think he is clearly among the top three. I don't think there's any question in terms of who the top three are, and he's certainly among the top three. He's very, very polished, and in the grand scheme of things, right? You could talk about value, you could talk about a couple of different things, and maybe that's a little early. But in the grand scheme of things, I think he's a receiver one. I think he's gonna be a really good one for a long time. So Doomsday to Arizona. That takes me back to my mock draft. I'm going receiver. The two quarterbacks, Caleb Williams straight me with the first two selections. So Marvin Harrison Jr. lands to Arizona. And, you talked about the fact that, we've done a lot of mock drafts and we've kind of done things a certain way. I'm going to mix it up a little bit here. Not necessarily with the position. I think Washington needs to address their offensive line. But instead of Olu Fashanu, I'm going to go Joe Alt.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Very, very close in terms of our analysis. If you look at my rankings, which I haven't published just yet, but currently I have Fashanu slightly ahead of Alt. But, throw a little spice, a little flavor into this dual mock draft. Let's go Joe Alt here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Olu Fashanu. I'm just gonna keep par for the course. I don't think you can go wrong with either guy, but let's just go with the top OT here and Olu Fashanu. And I think
it's a matter. I think some people feel like and I'm not necessarily excluding us in this. Olu Fashanu may have the higher ceiling, right?
Correct.
That may be part of the calculus here is that he has a higher ceiling than Joe Alt, but Joe Alt's 20, man. We talked about how young Fashanu is. Alt's actually younger than Fashanu, and Alt continues to make substantial leaps. I think with Fashanu, he was considered the top tackle a season ago. It's one of those situations where he can only go down. You know what I mean? You kind of get bored of it. So that's the reason why I went in that particular direction. But I'm not mad at it.
All right. Next up, we got my favorite team, the Los Angeles Chargers, who continue to charge and make bad decisions. And although they fired their GM and their coach today, is that correct? That's what
Telesco and Staley, who refuses to take the points, is out. They had asked him. I think was it last week or a couple weeks ago? They asked him, do you think your message is no longer reaching the team? And he said, no, I think it is. If not, we would get blown out, and then they get 62 hung on them by the Raiders. So I don't think the message is reaching, and certainly it's not reaching anymore now that he's out of work. So yeah, man, that'll get you fired, bro. That will get you fired.
Sometimes less is more, bro. You just got to
telling you, man,
bro. But
I'm telling you,
this team needs. I'm looking at this team. I don't even know where to go because there's a lot of issues on this team. I think. Is Quentin Johnston? Is he the guy? He's got the brick hands. He's had the brick hands throughout the season. Dropped a couple touchdown passes. Keenan Allen obviously is Keenan Allen, but what does that look like? Mike Williams. Did they sign Mike Williams? I don't even remember if they signed him. I know he's hurt.
He's done. He's done with them.
So you're going to need
next year.
So you do need a receiver, and then you need a player at every level of the defense. This is real tough, man.
A player or two at every level.
Yes.
And one of the tackle positions on offense. So
on offense. You know what? This is what I was thinking. As you were talking about your draft, I think I'm going to go with the top versatile edge player in Latu.
Yeah.
I think last year they hit with Thule, and I think this year we're gonna hit with Latu, man. Is a guy who we love, and he's a guy who can rush off the edge, outstanding hands. He's got the best hands in the draft. That goes for receiver, that goes for corner, that goes for any position that we talked about. Offensive line, he got the best hands in the draft, and he can play out in coverage, man. You can get cute with him on the outside linebacker position. So I think this is the guy here for them. It's a match made in heaven as far as I'm concerned. So let's lock it up and lock it in. I'd really like to go corner, but it's the value, man. It's the value for me.
Yeah, I'm not passing on Latu for a corner. You got to think about it. Khalil Mack, I'm sure there's some obscene contract numbers. I mentioned $40 million over the cap.
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be some changes. Khalil Mack won't be there. I think the year after 2025, I think after 2025, or actually after the 2024 season, the 2025 off season, Joey Bosa probably won't be there. So you're going to need pass rushers. You know, your aging pass rushers have struggled to stay healthy, and in some instances hasn't been as productive. You know, we went from Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa and then Khalil Mack, and then now you see Father Time catching up, and they haven't necessarily, they didn't get it done during that window, right? They had a lot of talent, but obviously couldn't get certain things right. Guys can't stay healthy, so on and so forth. So there's going to be significant change. There's going to be really, really significant change in Los Angeles among the Chargers. I'm up next, and I'm gonna follow suit here. I think it's an easy decision. Latu, my top defender in the class, top edge rusher. We just mentioned it. We just talked about the changes that we're anticipating for the Chargers. He gets you started in the right direction for sure. All right. And then that takes me to the Bears. So obviously I traded down. This is actually the Bears pick. Traded down to 8 with the Giants. Giants take Caleb Williams first overall. Here at 6, I'm going to secure, you know, perhaps the best tackle in the class, right? Again, whether or not you like Fashanu, whose athleticism is kind of, you know, what kind of tips the scale in his favor, or you prefer Alt, who's a bit more physical, a bit larger. Fashanu, I think, will play very well. Franchise left tackle here in Chicago.
I ain't mad at it. Well, you know what I did with my first pick. We seen Justin Fields on the Squiddy squad. We didn't trade out. We got Marvin Harrison, best player in the draft. And so we got to do the right thing in terms of surrounding our quarterback with protection, right? If you're going to give it to Marvin Harrison, you need just a little bit of time to do that, right? And who do I have on the board here? I got Joe Alt sitting here for us, nice and pretty. Teams are looking to trade up right now. We're not willing to do that. We're not willing to take this chance. We're going to take our guy here, Joe Alt, to lock it up. Yeah, lock it up. Let's go. All right, man. Next up, we have the New York Jets. And this team could use a quarterback.
They can.
They could use a tackle. They also could use a wide receiver to pair with Garrett Wilson. And this is assuming that obviously Aaron Rodgers comes back. I'm talking about him coming back this season. And, you know, the Lazard project. Is Randall Cobb out there too? You know, like
no, you can't. Don't add him into the calculus.
Okay. No. You know, we brought a bunch of guys over for Aaron Rodgers, guys he wanted there. Obviously, he's not playing, so you know it's not necessarily working out. I'm thinking, yeah, I got to do the right thing, man. I gotta go Malik here with Garrett Wilson. That's disgusting.
It is disgusting. It's filthy.
And it's filthy, or as mom would say, disgusting is what mom would say. We're gonna do that, man. That's gonna be a problem for any team that's going against this team here in terms of Garrett Wilson, Malik Neighbors, guys who get the ball in their hands and they can do damage after the catch. It's gonna be filthy nasty. You got Aaron Rodgers throwing him the football, man, and it might have Aaron Rodgers stay a little bit longer, man. Play a little bit longer for the Jets, man. You know what I'm saying?
That might do it. Yeah, that might do it.
You know what I mean? So we'll worry about the O-line in the third round, man. We'll figure it out.
That might do it. I actually have an opportunity to do it as well, and I agonized over this prior to us going live. You know, Garrett Wilson was my top receiver coming out in that particular class. Neighbors is damn near my top receiver. I can't give him the edge over Marvin Harrison Jr., but I have him closer than I think most people do to the top receiver in this particular class. I decided to go in a little bit different direction, and Mr. C. Prasky, D-Kit, they might give me a hard time, but I actually like it. Because you know how I feel about the depth at the receiver position in this particular class, even though we're talking about Malik Neighbors. So it really just kind of depends on the day. But I'm going to go Brock Bowers here, man. I'm gonna go Brock Bowers. You know, they haven't really gotten anything out of CJ Uzama. I know they got your boy Conklin, and he's solid. He's a good player, but I think Brock Bowers offers just a completely different element at the tight end position. Jeremy Ruckert has struggled to stay healthy, and of course he's getting acclimated. Brock Bowers comes in, really helps your passing game, as would Malik Neighbors. I just want some more size. I want some more size. I want to create some matchup problems here, so I'm gonna go Brock Bowers to the Jets.
I like it, bro. I'm not mad at that.
All right. Which takes me to the Bears pick, as I mentioned before, traded down with the New York Giants. So here we are in the 8th hole, and lo and behold, Malik Neighbors is here. We got our franchise tackle. Or rather, this is you.
Is it?
Wait a second here.
No, that's you. 6 and 8.
That is me.
Yeah, you traded out. Go back. You good?
We did trade out.
Yeah. Come on, you forgot? Come on, man.
I thought I took Caleb Williams at the top.
I don't know what you did. I thought you took him.
No, I did take Caleb
Yeah,
Williams.
you did.
You did.
See,
to the Giants.
It's a little harder than
hey,
most
man.
people think.
Hey, man. The age is catching up with me. All right, I got my head on straight. Okay, we stuck with Justin Fields, right?
Mm-hmm.
Traded down. Caleb Williams goes first overall to the Giants. I got Fashanu at 6. At 8, I'm going with Malik Neighbors. I'm going to pair him up with DJ Moore. We talked about, doing what's right for Justin Fields. Yeah. I think DJ Moore, Malik Neighbors, Olu Fashanu, Darnell Wright is certainly a huge step, a seismic step in the right direction for Justin Fields in Chicago.
Yeah, I like it. All right, man. All right. Next up for me, we got the New York Football Giants. I'm going to do you proud, D-Kit. We're going to go ahead. We're going to get you a quarterback. Daniel Jones is out. I think Juice, I mentioned earlier in terms of taking a $20 million cap hit. We're just going to eat that. Just got to eat that, man, to get this team right. Right. I really like to go receiver, but I don't think the value is right here. And that means we got to roll with Daniel Jones. And I don't know that Giants fans feel a little sick about doing that. So we're going to do the right thing, man. I'm going to get you your Drake May right here. Lock it up, lock it in. And this is Dable's pick right here, man. Let's do it.
Yeah. I don't see it. I don't see it, but the Giants would be ecstatic if Drake May were to fall to them at 8. I just don't see it playing out that way. I think in order for the Giants to get either Caleb Williams or Drake May, they're going to have to trade up.
I would agree.
D-Kit approves. Didn't have to give up any additional draft capital as well there. That's going to take me back to my pick, or are you still on Tennessee here?
No, I'm still on Tennessee.
Let's
for Tennessee,
I'm chomping at the bit.
I know you're chomping at the bit, and I'm gonna do something a little bit different here, man. No, I'm not gonna go left. I'm gonna stay the course. I know that Will Levis is over there at the quarterback position for the Titans, still trying to figure out, if he's going to be the guy. You have a choice here. You either got to go receiver, to give him some weapons, or I guess we could go tight end as well for the Titans here, or we can go offensive line, man. I'm really strongly leaning towards going offensive line.
I hear that.
And but Brock Bowers is sitting there on the board.
Yes, he is.
He really is.
He is staring you in the face.
He really is, man. Let me. You know what? Yeah, let's do the right thing. I'm gonna go Brock Bowers, man. Let's lock it up because he kind of gives you. I'm not gonna say he gives you the best of both worlds because he's not a stud at block. Like that. That's not his thing.
He competes.
Yeah, he competes. He gives you enough there at the edge, right? So he's not Darnell Washington. Nobody is, to be honest with you. But he's
Kittle,
right? But he's special in terms of his ability to find the open space, to separate, or even with bodies on him can make a catch. And then what he does after the ball's in his hands. So it kind of gives you that in spades. So,
all right, I don't hate it. Obviously, in my mock draft, Bowers went a couple picks ahead to the Jets. I want to trade out here. This team needs work. Right? And if we're going to, unless we're ready to turn the page on Will Levis immediately, I actually want to take a step back. There teams are going to be jockeying for position in order to get Michael Penix, Jaden Daniels at this point. So
I'd agree.
I'm going to leverage that. So let's see what we can pull off here with Tennessee. And I like the idea of Seattle moving up,
Ooh,
right?
they're gonna have
Geno
to, because you
Smith,
got Atlanta and you got New Orleans and Las
yeah,
Vegas.
exactly,
Yeah.
and Las Vegas. So
Yeah, all in a row.
3 teams there could be in the market for a quarterback. So want to get out in front of them here in Seattle. Of course, things just haven't gone according to plan with Geno this particular year, but I think for maybe this gets the job done. You know what I mean? It's 4 spots. We're not going into the top 5, top 3, top 2 picks here. So a 1, 3, and 4, add some additional draft capital. And I think Tennessee's still in position to either improve the offensive line, perhaps get a receiver, Rome Odunze. We'll see how it plays out. But I would make this trade, particularly if I'm Seattle, because, again, the Geno Smith, it was a great story. I think Geno is still a NFL starting caliber quarterback in the NFL. But I think if Seattle wants to take this next step, they need to go ahead and get their trigger man of the future. And we're going to make this trade in order to do so. And I'm going to stay relatively local here, man. I know people love Jaden Daniels, the Heisman Trophy winner, but I'm going to go with Laser Penix, man. In the great Northwest.
I like it.
The great Northwest. Let's go Laser Penix.
And I think that would be the pick for Seattle, man. You know how they do. They like to you know.
They're very regional. They're very regional in their approach.
Makes sense. It makes sense.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I think in terms, and not to take anything away, Jaden Daniels was phenomenal pushing the football down the field this year. But I think Laser Penix, as Headley checks in, you know, he cuts through that cold, man, in the Northwest, man. It gets cold up there. It's rainy. You know what I'm saying? Let Penix go to work. I like my tackles and Lucas and Cross. You know, we get some guards in there. We're going to be able to move the football on a consistent basis. Easy decision here for the Raiders. Let's go get the dynamic Jaden Daniels. No quarterbacks for Headley for Atlanta, though. No quarterbacks, unfortunately.
Hurt, man. All right, man. For the Las Vegas Raiders, I don't know who's going to be their coach. Did you see they're talking about bringing John Gruden back? Did you see that?
No.
Yeah.
Can't be.
What are you doing when you got the boys out there playing for your guy, man? Antonio Pierce. Like, I don't understand, man. But anyways, maybe that's just the agent trying to throw things out there, trying to test the waters, see what's out there, what people thinking, but what's the feeling on that. But I'm gonna do the right thing, man. We're gonna go ahead and get you Michael Penix Jr., quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. Lock it up.
Mr. Ciprasky likes Daniels. And I understand what you're saying in terms of that additional running element, right? You can do some things at the mesh point and hold that end and get more creative in the red zone. I understand that. I understand that line of thinking. I do.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be the talk. It's Caleb Williams, it's Drake May. That's the talk for those guys. That tier of quarterback, if you will, and then Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix. My question would be, if Michael Penix never gets hurt, if he never has those injuries, what are we talking about? And he's having the season that he's having this year. Where does he fall? Where is he?
Sure.
Right. That would be the real question. But yeah, it's. And I think it's going to be again.
Penix is nails, man.
He is
nails, man. I mean, you know, a lot of close games. You know, people have talked about, well, you know, Washington doesn't necessarily have a championship defense. Okay, it hasn't mattered. It hasn't mattered, man.
No,
I think there's a mental fortitude, a toughness associated with Michael Penix that I don't necessarily see with the other quarterbacks.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? You can certainly make arguments in terms of guys being more gifted at certain aspects of the position than him. But in terms of mental toughness, I think he's the one. I think he's the one, man.
He's the guy. All right, Helly, man. I hate to make this pick, but Spike Lee got to do the right thing, man. Jaden Daniels going to the Falcons here.
Daniels to Hotlanta?
Yeah. Let's do it. And you want to talk about doing the mesh point and all that? They can get real cute with him and Bijan. Yeah, it can get crazy. Yeah. Let's do that, man. Lock it up. Lock it in. Jaden Daniels, man.
All right.
And then you got the Lowly Saints hurt right here, man. What they gonna do?
You still on the clock? Am I back up or you? Still
No, you back up. You got the evens.
Okay,
you go with the evens. Okay. Go ahead. Okay. Yeah.
Hadley said he likes it. He approves.
I like it.
All right, Hadley gonna like this one too. Now, obviously, no Fields, no Daniels. We stuck with Fields in both instances with Chicago. Chicago traded out of the first overall pick again. If you're just joining us, but I'm gonna keep it simple, and I know Hadley will approve of this selection. They're a little bit older on the defensive side of the ball, particularly up front, as far as pass rushers are concerned. Let's go get Jared Verse, man. Let's get that speed to power, that explosiveness off the edge going here. All right.
Get that state.
Yes. And this particular pick gave me some consternation as I was thinking about it, right? I think the entire left side of their offensive line is slated to be free agents. Not sure what the plan is with Trevor Penning. I would imagine he moves inside, and then you're looking at a tackle. There's a lot of right tackles that are first round, that have first round grades, right? I'm not sure who is comfortable playing left tackle among those right tackles. Troy Fautanu, he might be the guy. I don't know if you want to go quite this early with him. I'm not sure, right? But I also thought about it in terms of, what does the cupboard look like in terms of the receiver position? Because to me, this is a team that needs to think about a 2 to 3 year ramp up. Right. Derek Carr's not going to be the guy. He's a placeholder as far as I'm concerned. So let's build this thing up for the next guy in the next 2 to 3 years here. I like Roma Dunze, right? Olave, Roma Dunze. Those would be the only two receivers. Actually three. It'll be A.T. Perry, Olave, and Odunze. I like that trio. I like what that looks like. You know what I mean? In terms of a young trio. So I'm going to go with Roma Dunze here, 12th overall to New Orleans.
All right. I don't like it, but I like it. You know what I'm saying?
Don't like it, but you like it.
I don't like it as a Bucks fan, but I like it as a football fan. And it makes sense. It's the right move, definitely for New Orleans. For me, I'm gonna go Jared Verse, man. They need some pass rush off the edge. They need some consistency off the edge. And your boy is long in the tooth, as you like to say, Juice. The Cameron Jordan.
Yeah, Cameron.
Say it right.
You got it right.
I got it right. Okay.
To transpose the names.
Yes. Yeah. So this would be the guy that would take his place. So Jared Verse, lock it in. And then for Seattle, I probably should have traded up. So I didn't have to force anything here, but we don't necessarily, we won't have to worry about that because there's some good players on the board here. Let me just look at the interior of the Seattle Seahawks here. Just want to take a peek. Mr. Ceprowski, what are you saying, man? What are you thinking? Interior, okay. Interior looks strong. Let me see here.
Of course, I had Seattle trading up.
You did. You got your quarterback.
To get the quarterback, man.
You did. You did the right thing, man. While I was slacking and chilling and letting things just happen, right?
Ceprowski said, no Knicks. No Knicks.
Oh, no, I wasn't going there. I wasn't going. I wasn't even thinking about quarterback. I'm thinking
Johnny makes sense. He does. He does make sense here.
He does. Man, I was trying to stay off of him, man. But I don't think I can do that, right?
Yeah, you might not be able to do it, bro. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to do it.
I got to do the right thing. All right, man. Mm-hmm. Let's go. Just Jerzon, Johnny Newton from Illinois. Clog up that middle and get that pressure. You can get cute with them, play them outside. So you'll be able to play some games up front. So let's go ahead and get us a Jerzon Newton for the Seattle Seahawks.
All right, so Verse and Newton were your last two selections. I got Tennessee on the clock here. Of course, this is associated with the trade down we just mentioned. Seattle trading up to get the quarterback. And I think Tennessee is in a good position here, right? The assumption is we're going to continue to move forward with Will Levis. We'll give him a full year to really demonstrate what he's capable of. Let's protect him. Protect him. J.C. Latham right here staring us in the face, man. So that's the selection here. Easy one for me. All right. And with the Rams on the clock next, I'm going to follow it up. I'm going to follow it up with his teammate on the other side of the ball, Dallas Turner. I mentioned it before. Going into the season through summer scouting, we wanted to see more. We wanted to see some additional pass rush moves, secondary, tertiary moves. I've seen it. Of course, the hammer, the speed to power is really where he makes his hay. And, of course, he has really good hands as well, underrated hands. But I've seen another layer or another level of pass rush out of Dallas Turner. So I've been impressed with what he's done. Rams need to improve every level of their defense. So Turner's the pick here.
I ain't mad at it. All right. Who I got the loss? I almost call him the The wrong Rams, bro. Caught myself. St. Louis in here, man. The Los Angeles Rams. For these guys, see here. I think I'm gonna roll. These guys could use a corner. The corners they actually have started off the season really strong, and I think they've kind of cooled down since then. And I know obviously they need an edge. They actually need a guy next to Aaron Donald. And you know what would be interesting is if they went out and if they went and maybe traded up for Jazon Newton. That would be interesting for this team. But
I think it makes them a little small inside.
Think so?
I think so. I think it makes him a little small, but certainly if you're drafting him to be the heir apparent to Aaron Donald, and then of course on obvious passing downs, there's going to be problems. But,
yeah, it's going to be big time.
Aaron Donald's already considered, although it doesn't affect him, right? In terms of what you're asking him to do, you want him getting upfield, you want him to one gap. He's considered an undersized interior defensive lineman. Plays all over the line. He plays five tech.
You would never know, bro. You would never
special.
know.
He's special. I think Johnny Newton flashes some of that ability, just not on that level, clearly.
Right.
And of course, my big thing with Johnny Newton is he can absolutely play 5 tech. He can play 4-eye. He can do a number of things, but I really want to see him play 3 technique.
3 technique, shoot the gap.
Absolutely. Use that quickness.
Damage.
Use that quickness and make plays on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
Kobe Turner is balling out. He is balling out. They did such a good job. They did such a good job this past draft, man. I don't recall a day 3. We're talking like Legion of Boom, Seattle day 3 type draft. Ozzie Newsome in his heyday, in his bag day 3 type draft, man. Like they did a really great job.
They didn't have a choice though either.
No,
it had to work out.
They had to nail it. Absolutely.
We're gonna go Dallas Turner here, man.
Okay.
Edge, Alabama. Pair him up next to Aaron Donald. Let's go to work, man.
Let's go to work.
All right, then we got the Arizona Cardinals. First pick, we went Rome Odunze.
Third overall.
We got the alpha in the room, man. I'm trying to give them love, man. Trying to people on it. They're gonna find out in this playoff, man.
He gonna ball, bro.
They're gonna find out in this.
People will be critical of the value, but he gonna ball,
right?
For sure.
Yeah. All right, for the Cardinals, man. I'm thinking I want to go edge, but I think I'm not gonna go edge. I think I'm gonna go corner here. I want to go edge, but we're gonna take the first corner off the board. We're gonna take the number 1 corner in Kool-Aid McKinstry. Although Terry Arnold's kind of pushing him here, his teammate. I know you like Nate Wiggins.
I do,
but we're gonna go Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Not mad at it
on the outside, man. Yeah, let's get it.
I like it. All right, let me get back in there. In there. I got Arizona on the clock here. Of course, we went Marvin Harrison Jr. because our mock draft went a little bit different at the very top. I like Nate Wiggins. I like Nate Wiggins in this particular defense. Cover 3, cover 2. Keep his eyes on the quarterback. I like the length. I like the long speed, the ball skills. So give me Nate Wiggins to the Cardinals. They have a lot of work to do on the back end there, which takes us to Denver. And I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna get on the phones. I'm gonna get on the phones.
I like it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think considering all the draft capital that they gave up to acquire Russell Wilson, I think they need to take advantage of any opportunities that they have to recoup some of that, right? To continue to round out this roster. Of course, they're responding to Sean Payton. That's a good sign. They're absolutely responding to Sean Payton. And let's just recoup some of this draft capital. There's one team in particular that I think, based on what they did this past draft, really demonstrated that when they identify a player, they're willing to do what it takes in order to get him, right? And that team is the Houston Texans. That team is the Houston Texans. And while I think there's a lot of good players in terms of the interior, the defensive line, I think Jazon Newton, next to Will Anderson, flanked with Jonathan Grenard, I think that is what DeMeco Ryans is looking for up front. I think that's what he wants. He wants these guys to pin their ears back and go hunt the quarterback. So we're gonna figure out what it takes in order to make this happen. To make it happen, it's 8 spots, so it's not crazy. Let's go 1, 3. Let's see if a 2 next year will get it done. Oh, they say it's too much.
Oh, giving too
that's
much.
Too steep.
All right,
let's give it another shot here. 1, 4, and a 2 next year. See if that gets her done. Still too steep.
Mm.
All right. Let's go
Steepity
with
steep.
We got to make it happen, though, man. I like I said, I think the Texans, based on what they did, obviously they were in the two-hole to select C.J. Stroud, but they were convinced, and as most teams I'm sure would, of how good Will Anderson could be, and they didn't hesitate. They didn't hesitate to go after him. So I want to do that here with Johnny Newton. I just got to figure out what the secret sauce is. What's it gonna take?
What is it gonna take?
Let's go. I went. Let's do 1, 3, and 4. All right. That'll get her done. All right. And with that trade, of course, we consummate the trade, and we got Big Johnny Newton in there. And in this particular scheme, he's going to be able to do exactly what I want, right? Which is 3 technique, 1 gap, get upfield, be the disruptive force that he's demonstrated he's capable of. And I think between him and Will Anderson, they're going to get tons of one-on-one opportunities, right? You're going to have to pick your poison at times with those 2 guys. So love that for the Texans. That takes us to Buffalo. And I'm going to go back in terms of the defensive line and getting after the passer. We talked about this in our last mock draft. I think cornerback is a bigger need than perhaps some may think. I know Buffalo fans certainly are in the market for a receiver, but I want to secure perhaps the only guy that I have that I'm really comfortable taking in the first round as far among the edge rushers at this point, right? With Latu off the board versus the Dallas Turner gone, I think Chop Robinson is the best of what remains. So I'm gonna go Chop Robinson here to Buffalo.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I'm looking to see if I can make a trade to move Denver out of here, man.
Okay.
But I think I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay put.
You're gonna stay put? All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay put. They probably should trade out, but we're gonna stay put. And looks like, let me see what I want to do for the Denver Broncos here. A couple different options for the Broncos, the Sean Payton Broncos. Obviously, we could go receiver here. I'm trying not to force a receiver onto these guys, but they do need a receiver. But there's a lot of receivers left on the board. Maybe they fall in love with a Keon Coleman. Maybe they fall in love with a Adonai Mitchell, something like that. And I think a lot more.
I don't necessarily disagree with you in terms of adding a receiver. I think Marvin Mims immediately gives you more than what Jerry Jeudy's giving. Jerry Jeudy seems disinterested, confidence. Non-existent. It's just he's not playing with the same edge that he's capable of. Like I don't know what to make of that whole situation. I think he certainly needs a reset and a fresh start elsewhere, but hasn't lived up to the billing. Simply hasn't lived up to the billing. Cortland Sutton, on the other hand, he's gotten healthy and he's found that connection with Russell Wilson. So he's taken off for sure.
Is ever since Jerry Jeudy spoke with Steve Smith, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Steve Smith. I don't know.
Steve Smith knew something.
Yeah,
he knew something.
He did know something. He really did know something. All right, man. I'm trying to get some guys some love here, man. You know, I like to go west. I like to go west. No. West. We're going west today. Right?
Okay.
I like to go west sometimes, man. All right. You know what? Decisions. Let's.
What you thinking? So we talked about receiver.
Yeah, we talked about the receiver position.
Where else would you be considering bolstering this roster?
Outside linebacker, but that's not. I don't think that's there for me right now. So let me think here. Balls is good there. Strong there. Makes you there. Tight end straight there. Got the running backs. We solid there. Maybe I go. Let's see. Let me check one thing because I may change it up here. Let me just look at one thing right quick. What the boys saying? What they saying?
Oh man, the boys say draft Jake Moody.
Come on, man.
DK saying take a punter, man. He fell asleep.
Oh man, I'm sorry, DK, man. I'm trying to do the right thing, man. Come on.
Drew, you're not in frame. I know you're getting in real close. You're getting in real close.
My bad.
To the Owl lads and the roster and the contracts, but you're not in frame, man.
Am I in frame now? I'm good.
No, there you go. There you go. Let them see it. Let them see your face.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
I know I'm pretty and all that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I know I'm sexy and all. You know. All right, let me just take a peek at this real quick.
This is a tough one.
It is a tough one.
This pick is a little tough, you know, particularly with Johnny Newton not on the board. I think.
Because that would have been the pick. Probably should have traded up and scooped him there, but nope, they got him there. I don't know that I like that though. All right. You know what happened when you're on the clock too long, bro? You know what happens, right?
Ooh,
you get passed up, man.
If all else fails, we'll get doorless.
That is like you know what? I think we've done that a couple of times too, man. You can't go wrong with doorless. All right, let's do doorless, man.
Ooh. I think this is the highest he's gone in our mock drafts.
16.
I think he finds his way into the first round, though. I think there's a legitimate shot that doorless breaks through into the first round.
All right, next up, I got the Buffalo Bills. This will be a little bit quicker because these guys need a receiver. Obviously, we don't know if Diggs is what's going on with the Diggs situation. Although I don't think he's going anywhere, to be perfectly honest. They need secondary help like no man's business because I think it's a lot of expiring contracts and boys not staying healthy. But I think Nate Wiggins would be a perfect fit in this system. So I think we're going to go Nate Wiggins here, cornerback, because we know the Florida guy out there.
I like that a lot.
Don't know what's going on with Elam out there. So
I like that a lot. Trey White's been hurt. Elam is probably on his way out. Dane Jackson, contract expiring. Teron Johnson, I think, only has one more year on his deal. There's change coming. There's change coming on that defense at every level, to be perfectly frank. So, you know, I think Wiggins helps put you back into that championship window, if not immediately, certainly quickly. So I like it. All right, I got Cincy on the clock, and I've already decided what I want to do here. Right, I think it's been customary for us to go receiver here, but you know, I'm not quite as high as most are on Keon Coleman. I still think he's worth first round consideration, but I don't want to take him here. I don't want to take him.
I like him specifically for this team too.
I agree.
Right.
The compliment to Jamar Chase makes a lot of sense, but I think we can net some draft capital. I think we can net some draft
trade
capital.
Now?
I actually have, I have my trade partner in mind. It's right here. It's already preloaded for you, man.
Oh, man,
I watched Jacksonville this year underachieve.
Mm-hmm.
I watched them underachieve, and I've been really disappointed with their defense. Really, really disappointed with their defense. Kool-Aid is sliding. You could argue that he's sliding a little bit here. In my mock draft, I think the Jaguars come up and get him. Then they come up and select Kool-Aid McKinstry to really bolster that defense. Jacksonville absolutely has to re-up with Jonathan Allen. They cannot afford for Jonathan Allen to walk out that door.
Nah, they gotta lock that up.
Oh yeah. For sure. Yeah. All right, that takes us to the Green Bay Packers, and it's become a thing now. I don't know if Jake's in the building, but it's become a thing now. Marius Mims to pair up with Zach Tom. Did you know that your boy Bakhtiari has a $40 million cap number?
What?
The cap hit is $40 million.
Is there an out? Can we get out? Can we get up out of that?
I mean, it's going to cost you about $20 million, but it's better than a $40 million hit.
That's a lot, bro.
Yeah, man.
Dang.
Yeah, man. You know what, D-Kit? he is underperforming considering I think what I think collectively we thought perhaps he might be doing, but I'm not concerned. I'm not worried. Sometimes it just takes a little bit longer for those guys to develop. And DK's referring to Lucas Van Ness of Green Bay. All right, let's go with Mims here. We can't carry Bakhtiari with a $40 million cap hit. It's not doable.
You can.
I mean, you can, but we're not doing it.
We're not doing it. Yeah.
Not doing it.
All right. For me, I got the Bengals here, and I'll have the Packers here in just a second. For the Bengals, I said Keon Coleman, right? That would be the perfect fit here. Jonah Williams, is he happy? Is Jonah Williams happy? Do you know if he's happy? Because if he's not happy, we're going J.C. Latham. If he is happy, then we go Keon Coleman, right? And as far as I know, he's happy. So we're going to do the right thing. Go Keon Coleman here for the Bengals. Let's lock it up, lock it in. Good compliment to Jamar Chase. And then we just need Burrow to be healthy, man. That's kind of where that comes down to. So Keon Coleman. And then for the Packers, Jake, I got you, man. We're not doing anything with the offensive line. We're going to go get your boy Cooper DeJean. Keep it nice and simple and easy. We'll come back around and get us an offensive tackle in the second round. Cooper DeJean is the pick for the Packers.
All right. You know, DK, I'm bouncing back and forth. I'm bouncing back and forth on these two. I haven't settled on one over the other. For whatever reason, it's been Mims of Green Bay for me as of late, but I haven't settled on one tackle over the other just yet. All right, I got Tampa Bay on the clock, and this is another one, not unlike Denver. It's kind of like, okay, we're in no man's land, right? I know there's certain areas that I'd like to improve, but is the value there? Is the corresponding player there? I was really taking a close look at your offensive line, and if you're expecting Ryan Jensen back, I really do think that allows you to push Stinney back into a reserve role, and you got a good vibe there at that point, right? So I started looking at the defensive side of the ball, and certainly edge is a need, but do I like the value? Not a ton here, even though some folks will love Braylon Trice at this point. Yeah. I actually settled on Cooper DeJean.
I ain't mad at it.
That's why I ultimately went with that versatility. Add another player to that secondary. Of course, you've had some injuries this year. If you got DeJean and Winfield as your safeties, I really like that pair. And of course, the Bucs faithful, of course, they'll be thinking about John Lynch and very very different player, obviously, but you know how that goes.
Yeah, I know. Right? So, they think about it.
Savvy Piscatelli. You know what I mean? He was
come on, bro. What are we doing?
What was your boy name? What was your boy name for the Bears? Cody. Was that his name?
Cody. He's a coach's son.
He wasn't good, bro. He
wasn't good. They gave him. They tried to give him a run.
Cooper DeJean is good. Yeah. He's good. Yeah. I like him here to Tampa Bay.
Your boy's having an All-Pro season, and Antoine Winfield, man. But listen, you know how many picks he's dropped, bro? Pick sixes he's dropped.
I mean, that's what they're gonna do. They can compare him to the white dude. That's what the Bucs are gonna do. That's what they do with all the white safeties. Is they compare him to John Lynch. That's what they do. That is what. But like I said, Piscatelli and I think his name was Cody. The other. It
was Cody Rude. No, not Cody Rude. I'm combining two players. Cody Riggs.
It doesn't matter. Yeah,
I'm gonna look him up.
He wasn't good. He's a former Bear.
Yeah.
I think a Lovey Smith guy.
Yeah. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah. All right, that takes us to Indy.
Man,
Indy needs a corner.
We're not doing no Bo Nix, bro, by the way.
Jim Leonard.
knock it off, bro.
I actually like Jim Leonard. I like Jim Leonard. I think Jim Leonard was a solid player. Better than Savvy Piscatelli, for sure.
Facts.
All right, Indy's been hurting for a corner. The argument will be, well, whether or not Terrion Arnold is a good fit for this system. I think he's perfectly fine. I don't think it matters what system he's in. He becomes cornerback 1 in Indianapolis.
Like it. All right, man. Back with me, Tampa Bay. We are going to go. I was thinking Chop Robinson, but he doesn't necessarily fit the system that we're running over here. We're not going no damn Bo Nix. Knock it off. We're not doing that. That ain't it, right? This is a team actually that could trade up, depending on kind of where they finish, could trade up and try to go get themselves. I forgot his name, man. The tight end. Oh my gosh. Bowers. Brock Bowers.
The kid's asking you about Baker, man. You riding with Baker? Is that your guy?
Depends on where they finish. So
Exactly.
it
That's my
just depends
thought
on where they
process.
finish. Yeah, if they finish, towards the bottom, made the playoffs, maybe won a game or so, won a division, then you roll with Baker. But if it's a situation where the wheels fall off the bus,
You need to be aggressive.
you got to
Do I
be
get one of
aggressive.
those top 4?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's what you're gonna have to do,
Yeah.
right? So for the Bucks here, I'm gonna be a little different, man. You know what? Hold on. You know what? We're gonna do we're gonna go way left, man. We're gonna do something different,
Way
man.
left.
Way left.
Okay.
We'll go Cameron Kitchens, man. I'm gonna lock him up with Cameron Kitchens at safety.
All right. I like it.
You can do some interchangeable things, however you want to play that, and get real sexy. They're already getting sexy in the secondary, but we're gonna go Cameron Kitchens here for the Bucks at safety, man. Just be a little different, man.
I like it.
All right, for the Colts, you talked about it in terms of it's the you going off the board, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then for the Colts, I'm gonna go Terry Arnold as well. He's still on the board. I think he's a good fit for these guys. And like you said, he can play either system. A man zone doesn't really matter. He has nice click and close. He's super aggressive. Get his hands on the receiver if you want to play the press man or just play man coverage in general. And he has a short memory if a mistake is made. So let's lock him in here.
Hicks is a good player too, D-Kid, as you mentioned. I'm not sure if he's coming out.
But yeah, I don't think he is. I don't think he is, as far as I remember.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Cam though. I like Cam more than both of them. So call it high. You know what I'm saying? It might be a little biased there, but
All right.
I'm gonna go with Cam. Give me Cam. All right. Minnesota on the clock, and this is where it's as dirty as it makes me feel. This is where I would consider Bo Nix. Right? I've talked about it previously. I think in this system with Kevin O'Connell, I think Bo Nix would actually be a pretty good fit in terms of what they want to do offensively. Him operating that offense. Of course, he has developed very well throughout his tenure at Oregon, but I'm gonna try to bolster this defense, an improving defense under Brian Flores. I want to bolster it. This is a bit of an upside pick, right? The production hasn't necessarily always matched the actual talent. I think in some instances he's been played out of position. In this particular instance, he's going to play my 5 technique, and when I go 4 down lineman, he'll be a 3 technique. And I think under those circumstances, Leonard Taylor, we should see best football out of him coming at the professional level. So give me Leonard Taylor here to Minnesota.
I'm mad at it. I like it.
All right. And with Pittsburgh on the clock, it's a simple decision for me. D-Kid, you mentioned him earlier. Talisa, I believe it's a Talisa, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Fuaga. Fuaga. That's going to kick Roderick Jones to left tackle. And now we're good. We're good at the tackle position here. We're physical, and we're going to keep Kenny Pickett upright. Hopefully Kenny Pickett can put it together, but certainly I feel really good about the offensive line now with Fuaga in the fold.
All right, man. So slide on back to me. We got the Minnesota Vikings, and right here we are not going Bo Nix. We're going to roll the Kirk Cousins train to the very end till he gets us fired. Till he gets us fired. It is what it is. We're going to go Chop Robinson here. Because I think Danielle Hunter, I think his contract is up at the end of this year. If it's not, is like another year left. So it's, that's coming to a point.
I think he's going to be a free agent. I think he's going to be a free agent. Yeah.
There you go. So Chop Robinson here for the Vikings. And then for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going to go JC Latham here.
That works too.
And like you said, kick Broderick Jones over to the left, and let's roll out, man.
Let's roll out. All right. So we got the Broncos on the clock. Of course, we traded down. The Texans moved into the 16th spot. We took Drazon Newton, like him as a 3 tech right here. We recouped some draft capital that we ultimately lost in the trade to acquire Russell Wilson. And I think you still have a good smattering of players here on the board to select from. We talked about improving that down line. I actually think they could stand to add a Dorless type, right? And I believe you took Dorless in your mock draft. I'm gonna go with Tavondre Sweat though. I want a big nose tackle who actually gives me a little something in terms of the pass rush as well. Teams are starting to transition back to more gap running schemes. So the 2 down guy, if you want to pigeonhole him as a 2 down guy, I think he could still be worth a late day 1, early day 2 pick. I like him here. I like what Denver's doing defensively. I think they just need to round out their down line, and I think Big T Sweat goes a long way to doing that. All right. And that takes me to Kansas City. Their troubles at the receiver position have been well documented. Keon Coleman staring me in the face, but like I said, I'm not quite as high on Keon Coleman as some others. And I think in terms of what Kansas City is looking for, they're looking for more speed. They're looking for more speed. I think there's a guy, I mean, Xavier Worthy, obviously, ton of speed. Adonai Mitchell can get vertical. Brian Thomas clearly can get vertical, but it's Xavier Legette for me, man.
Yeah,
it's Xavier Legette for me, man. I get the Worthy part, but those drops continue to plague him. And they already have those types of guys. I know that's what they like, but they already have those types of guys. I want some more size. I want a guy who could be my X. I want a guy who could be my X. Let Rashee Rice continue to work as that big slot. You understand what I'm saying? As Kelsey transitions out, I like a Legette Rice combo at the top, and then we can add more of those Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore types around that. You understand what I'm saying? So give me Xavier Legette, man. That speed is what Kansas City is looking for.
I like it. I ain't mad at it. All right, man. Houston Texans. I'm gonna go with Leonard Taylor here from the U. Sheldon Rankins, I think this is last year of the contract. They got a bunch of void years on that too. So I think he slides right in, perfect fit for the Texans here. And he can play that 3 technique, that penetration. That's what we've been looking for from him. So hopefully we'll see that. And then Kansas City, I'm doing the same thing you did, man. I think we only have 2 picks that are the same as far as I remember.
To this point, I believe so.
It's going to be Legette, man. Guy who can get the ball in his hands, make the magic happen, keep Patrick Mahomes from slamming his helmet on the ground and crying about people being offsides, crying about a penalty that actually happened.
Right.
Right. So, and he's mortal now. He's mortal, bro. Patrick Mahomes is mortal, bro.
It's time to get him. This is the time to get him.
It's the time to get him.
I think if Legette continues to build on what has been his best season at the collegiate level, he could be special. He could be special, right? You can't teach that size and speed, and he's not a linear guy. I think that's what they have currently. In terms of Justin Watson, for example, that's the guy that they use to kind of take the top off the defense. Legette can make plays at every level, right? Short, intermediate, and deep. You know what I'm saying? There's a looseness in his hips. He can get in and out of his breaks. Certainly some more refinement to come in terms of route running, but I like it. I like it with that offensive mind of Andy Reid, a quarterback who can extend plays and obviously put the ball wherever he wants it. I think that would work well. I certainly believe it would be a lot better than what they currently have at the receiver position. D-Kid, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at Corley. That is a guy. That is a guy. If they decide to go in a different direction, I think Corley might be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if he works his way into the first round. There's probably going to be a couple of organizations that really, really like him, but early day 2 is where I kind of have him pegged currently. All right. Cincy on the clock. Okay, we traded down. Our receiver's still sitting there. You talked about pairing Keon Coleman with Jamar Chase. You like that combination. It gives you a big red zone threat. Of course, that receiver room is a little bare after Jamar Chase. Let's go with Keon Coleman here. All right, and then that takes us to Detroit, and I think this is the team that needs to continue to improve their defense. I think as far as pass rushers are concerned, after Aiden Hutchinson, they have some guys, but I don't know that they're under contract beyond this season, right? Including James Houston. I think he'll be an exclusive rights free agent. So let's go get Braylon Trice. He kind of reminds me of Hutchinson to a degree in terms of just him harassing quarterbacks, right? He may be a little bit limited in terms of what you can do with him, but in terms of him moving forward and getting after the quarterback, affecting the quarterback, I think a bookend to Hutchinson works well here in Detroit. So give me Braylon Trice in Detroit.
All right, man. For me here, I got the Jacksonville Jaguars with 26 pick overall. You talked about in terms of them boys need corners in the worst way. But I'm a forego that, man. I'll forego. And I'm going to go receiver, man, because Calvin Ridley last year of his contract, Zay Jones, I think it's not the last year of his contract, but they can get out of the contract after this year. And so we're gonna add let me see here. I'm thinking of Troy Franklin.
Juice.
I'm thinking of Adonai Mitchell.
I like Mitchell. I think
I think I'm gonna lean Mitchell. He's making moves on the big board, the draft board. So we're gonna go Adonai Mitchell here for the Jaguars. I think it's a good fit there. And then you went. Who'd you go for the Lions here? You went Braylon Trice.
Braylon Trice. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we're not gonna go Braylon Trice. I'm not happy with Braylon. We're not happy. You know what? We're gonna go Kalen King, man. We're gonna go cornerback here, man.
All right. I'm not mad at it. That would be the other position that I would be addressing if not edge in this particular instance.
Yeah, let's go Kalen King, man.
All right, Kalen King to Detroit. All right, let's get back in here. We got Philly on the clock. Marina Sands has made it very clear they need a tackle, they need an edge, right?
Okay.
I think this would be a good landing spot for JT out of Ohio State. I do think it'd be a good landing spot because he wouldn't be thrust into, heavy playing time immediately. And I also think if you decided to go with a Troy Fatunu, certainly you could do that as well, right? He can play guard, and ultimately, he could play tackle one way or the other. So a couple of different options here for Philadelphia, but I think because of what's on the board and the fact that they already have most of their starters in place, I'm looking to trade down here. I'm looking to trade down. And I don't know that this would actually happen because there seems to be some bad blood between these two teams. But I think Philly would look to trade down with San Francisco trying to get in front of Miami for a coveted offensive lineman here.
I'd agree.
I like San Francisco trying to make their way up the board here to ensure that they select Graham Barton, right? And of course, he's listed as a tackle, but I think he can play any of the positions. And I believe NFL teams covet him as a center, considering his ability to move and get out in space. And of course, if you're familiar with San Francisco's offensive scheme, their running scheme, he would be a perfect fit here.
Yeah.
All right. That takes us to the Finns. And I thought that they had a desperate need up front, right? They had a desperate need up front, but Austin Jackson has turned the corner. They've extended him. I think they could potentially stand to address offensive line, in day two, if they like a different position a bit more. And I think the area that they need to address really is the down line. I think they really need to get better at the down line. And of course, you know how we feel about Brandon Dorless. Chris Jenkins certainly is in the conversation, but I'm going to take Dorless. Big fan of Brandon Dorless's game. All right.
I like it. All right. For the Eagles, we not trading out. What'd you say? Who said we need what now? Who was that?
Marina Sands.
Says they need a tackle.
I think,
or
to replace Lane Johnson long term.
Right.
Replace Lane Johnson or an edge, right? Brandon Graham is in his 14th, 15th season.
Sure.
Josh Sweat's not playing at his typical level.
All right.
You know what I mean? The young tackles are still they're uber talented, but they're still, coming into their own. You got Nolan Smith, you got Hassan Reddick. So it's not as if you got guys that need to play immediately, right. but certainly there's an eye to the future there.
All right, I'm looking to see if I want to trade. I don't think I will. I think we'll stay pat. And for the Eagles, man, oh man, there's too many offensive linemen I got to still on the board, bro. This is gross. This is unacceptable, man. Like, what are you doing? Let me do this. Let me go. I'm gonna go Fuaga here for the Eagles.
Yeah, he's been on the board much longer than I am.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been on the board this long. Let me do the right thing. It's great value there. The Eagles do it again. They do it again, right? And yeah, I was thinking offensive line for the Dolphins as well. But the down line is a problem for them. Something they need to shore up.
No. Divisional foe. He's going to a divisional foe in my mock draft. Just letting you know.
Oh, trade up a tape. Oh, no. I got plans for that guy. here we are going to go down line. I still got Sweat on the board here. I'm thinking about Jenkins. I like me some Michael Hall.
You like Michael Hall too. Yeah.
I like Mason Smith, but he's kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Sure. Rough year for LSU's defense.
Yeah. It's been bad, man. He's been a part of that, so I can't really give him any love. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna throw out a Michael Hall, man. I don't know if he's gotten drafted in the first round.
Okay.
But I'm gonna throw out a Michael Hall, number 51 for Ohio State. Yeah, man, he deserves the love. I think he'd be a good fit here for the Miami Dolphins. Guy who can penetrate, get upfield, guy who can disrupt as well. So I think he kind of gives you the best of both worlds in terms of that interior guy doing work, man.
All right. That takes me to the Dallas Cowboys pick, and much to D-Kit's chagrin, Joy Fautanu is the selection. We're going to start him out at tackle to replace my guy up there. What's his name? Tyron Smith. If it doesn't work there, we're going to move him inside the guard, and Tyler Smith will play tackle. I'd like to keep Tyler Smith at guard, though. He seems to be really comfortable at left guard. So, and I think Fautanu has the ability to do it at the NFL level. So
I agree.
Some may not necessarily agree, but I think he certainly has the ability. So he's the pick here to Dallas, followed by Philadelphia. And again, I have a number of tackles that I think, should be considered here. And as far as edge is concerned, JT, again, is that name that stands out to me. There's just been a lack of consistency with him. You know what I'm saying? It just too many valleys in his game. I know he's talented. I expect, he has his best football still ahead of him. But I don't necessarily see him as, and maybe I just need to do a little bit more work on him. But he doesn't strike me as, okay, he's such a physical specimen.
Oh, he's not that.
That he's just gonna be. It's gonna be undeniable once he gets good coaching. You understand what I'm saying? I think he's gonna be a good player, but I'm gonna go in a little bit different direction. We actually did this last week. I'm gonna go get my guy Adrian Cooper, man. I think the second level of Philadelphia's defense, it needs to be addressed.
Linebacker one.
If you talk about not only instincts but the traits, whereas Jeremiah Trotter certainly has the instincts, he may not necessarily have the coveted traits. Adrian Cooper has them. Big frame, fast, and of course he has a high football IQ. So let's go Cooper. Let's change the narrative here in Philadelphia and get this second level of the defense situated. Philadelphia's defense is underachieved. They've absolutely underachieved. I think Cooper can make them a better defense immediately.
All right, I'm going to do the right thing for the Dallas Cowboys here, right? There's a lot of offensive linemen on the board. Actually, I'm not going to do the right thing. I take it back. I'm not going to do the right thing. I was thinking about it. I'm not going to do the right thing. I'm going to do him justice. I'm just not going to do the right thing. And I'm going to get Adrian Cooper.
Okay.
For them.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
In the real world, okay, in reality, right, I'm going to go get one of them offensive tackles that's on the board, right? And it's probably Fautanu. But since this ain't real life, this is make-believe, we're going to get Andrew Cooper. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. If that's something they end up doing. This is some folks' number one line. Is this your number one linebacker? This small linebacker one?
Yeah, he and Trotter are basically number one for me. There's some guys that I like later in the draft too, so you can certainly make the argument to go later. Of course, this is a position that it typically isn't valued at that level, but I don't expect Leighton Vander Esch back in Dallas. Michael Parsons is basically a full-time edge now. It certainly is one of two areas that I'd be looking to improve on Dallas's defense. I think got some expiring contracts at corner. That's another area. But I want to keep Dak upright. That's just my thought process. And certainly you alluded to that, right? But I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I think Adrian Cooper is going to be a household name in just a hot minute, man. Give him a little time to get acclimated, and I think he becomes a household name. Let's see. You're up. I think you got another pick here.
Yeah, I do. It's San Francisco. Yep. I'm gonna go with Marius Mims here. Just lock him in, lock him up. Play that right tackle. Let's go.
All right, yeah, you do have a lot of offensive linemen on the board.
I do. It's crazy. What am I doing, man?
You do. All right, last pick of this one-round mock draft. Of course, we're doing dueling mock drafts, so we're doing these mock drafts simultaneously. So you get a twofer here, double mock drafts. 64 picks for the price of one. Baltimore, the offensive line is an area that needs to be addressed. Okay. Ronnie Stanley does not look like himself. He struggled to stay healthy. Receiver, I don't know that Beckham is going to play beyond this year. So receiver certainly is an area that they can address. Edge rusher, down line, certainly areas that this team could stand to improve. Corner bothers me. Corner bothers me on this team. Marlon Humphrey's a good player. I don't think he's playing at the level that his contract would suggest, right?
Right.
$100 million quarter. He's not playing at that level. You understand what I'm saying? Buckeye Hamilton is looking like an all-pro. Just give it time. He's looking like an all-pro. There's some guys who have stepped up, but also some expiring contracts. So I'm going to address the corner position here. And you took Kalen King. I think Kamari Lassiter certainly could be in the conversation. But I'm going to go with you and Headley's guy, man. I think he'd make a great Raven. Let's go with Josh Newton.
I love it, bro. That's lock it up, bro. I like it, man.
Josh Newton.
D-Kid said he would like for us to trade up, man. Or like for me to trade up. Yeah, we're not doing that. Nah. Actually, they probably should here with him on the board. And if this is a scenario where this guy's sitting on the board at this point, I can see a scenario where the Ravens trade out, right?
Do it, because that's a very Raven type thing. Although the Ravens could probably use Faatanu.
No. So I'm not trading out. No trade for me. That's what I'm taking here.
Right.
So yeah, offensive line has struggled this year. So let's go ahead and
save it up.
Save it up. Yeah, save it up.
No, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. All right. All right, Drew. Let's see. Let's admire our work now. All right. So we'll go through your top 10 and then we'll go through my top 10. How about we do it that way? All right. So of course we're sticking with Justin Fields here at the top. Marvin Harrison Jr. That's your thought process. Go get the best player in the draft. I'm more of the mindset. In fact, we'll do it simultaneously. Bounce back and forth. I'm more of the mindset that with DJ Moore in tow, I want to get some more draft capital, right? I think I'm going to get immediate starters, very productive players with a pair of top 10 picks, regardless. It just really comes down to how strongly do you feel about Marvin Harrison being the top player in the class, right? If I could get a king's ransom because I'm sticking with Justin Fields, then I'm going to trade out. I'm going to let somebody else go grab their quarterback. They're going to have to pay, though. They're going to have to pay through the nose in order to get that quarterback. So I traded down with the Giants here, and they selected Caleb Williams at the top. So certainly understand your line of thought. But again, if I'm not taking a quarterback here first overall, somebody's going to have to pay me a king's ransom for that first overall pick.
Ski mask and shades, bro.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. Team has a lot of work to do still.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Look like you went with Caleb Williams here, second overall, followed by a bit of a surprise, Rome Odunze. Not so much that you have him as your receiver too. I'm familiar with your game. You know what I'm saying? So I know you had him receiver too. I just didn't anticipate you taking him that early. The question mark there is
trade down value. Yeah.
The value, right? Yeah. It is a big need. It is a glaring need for the Cardinals, but certainly the value is a question mark. I, of course, went Drake May second overall, and then, of course, Marvin Harrison Jr. falls into my lap there. So, what do you think about Joe Alt over Olu Fashanu?
I'm not mad at it, bro. I mean, I understand it. That's possibly could happen. If you'd have told me earlier in the season, I would have told you wrong move, right? But Joe Alt has he's lived up to who we think he can be this season. Olu, again, you talked about it in terms of him being at the top, and when you're at the top, right? You have nowhere to go but down, right? Yep. So if you take a misstep, you slip, you miss, everybody's looking at it like it's the end of the world, right? And there's people looking to knock you, right? They was doing the same thing with Will Anderson last year. And look at him, dominating, bro. So
they absolutely did.
But nothing wrong with Joe All here. I can see people going the other way. It's what flavor do you like, right? So
All right. Well, in your stead, you went Olu Fashanu, which again I completely understand. I'm not going to knock it. I think the fifth overall pick is the first pick that we were synced up. Latu. Yep. We've talked about it extensively in terms of the work the Chargers are going to have to do. Of course, they fired their head coach and their GM. $40 million over the cap. It's not as if they're devoid of talent, but they got a lot of work to do. They got some bad contracts. They got some players who are on the backside of their careers. You're not going to see the best football from those guys anymore. Yep. So there's certainly some work to be done in Los Angeles. But Latu goes a long way to fixing your defense.
Let me ask you here, Rob, obviously not knowing what you're going to get, would you trade out here if you're them?
I think you have to consider it.
As quarterbacks,
you have to consider it.
You
have to consider it. It really depends on what you would net in a trade, but
right.
I think you absolutely have to consider it because there's a lot of work to be done, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that you just have a bad cap situation, right? And you need wax at it. You need rookie contracts, cheap contracts, relatively cheap contracts to work with in order to rehabilitate this roster. So it certainly needs to be, they certainly need to consider it. Of course, we have Alt and Fashanu flip-flop. Seven with the Jets got interesting, right? You ultimately went with Malik Neighbors pairing him with Garrett Wilson. That's probably the best receiver duo. Malik Neighbors hasn't even played a down in the NFL. That's probably the best receiver duo
That's funny,
in the league. I decided to go with Brock Bowers. And the reason why I went with Brock Bowers is because I think he just offers a different element. And you know how I feel about Garrett Wilson. Not that I don't love Malik Neighbors, but now I feel about Garrett Wilson. So I add Brock Bowers just to give you a different look. Make it a little bit more a different challenge. I shouldn't say more challenging, but a different challenge for opposing defenses there. Of course, Malik Neighbors goes to 8, so I get the receiver, right? Whether you go Marvin Harrison early or you get Malik Neighbors a little bit later. I don't think anybody's going to bat an eyelash at that. And of course, if Justin Fields doesn't get it done with 2 excellent bookends at tackle and those 2 receivers, whether it be DJ Moore and Marvin Harrison Jr. or DJ Moore and Malik Neighbors, then of course you have your answer there, right? The next big move here for me was Seattle trading up with Tennessee. Seattle identifying the quarterback that they covet and going to go get him. So with Will Levis flashing obviously ability, he's always had the physical tools. It's really what's going through his head. Right, what kind of coaching he's getting. We're gonna give him a little bit more time to see what he's capable of. So Seattle pounces on that, and of course, Jaden Daniels rounds out my top 10 here. He falls into the lap of the Raiders, who are in the market for a quarterback.
Yeah, man, you see what I did there. Malik Neighbors, like you said, with Garrett Wilson, lock that up. Aaron Rodgers over there probably stays a little bit longer. And then you got Drake May going to the Giants. Daniel Jones' project is over and done. We'll eat the $20 million, move on. Brock Bowers to Tennessee. I was thinking receiver because that team could go receiver. They could go tight end, or they could go offensive tackle. And I kind of split it down the middle there, going with the tight end and Brock Bowers. And then last pick here for the Raiders, I went Michael Penix Jr., man.
Yeah, man. You talked about this being make believe. Ain't no way Drake May gonna be there at 8 for the Giants.
No, that's make believe. Yeah, that's make believe.
No way.
That's make believe.
D-Kid, he failed you. He failed you, D-Kid.
No, man. Well, yeah, of course I failed you, man. What are you doing? What are you talking about? Hold on. So hold on. I did discuss in a scenario where
you did, but you just
they're still on the board there, right?
Which you was.
They probably
was on the board.
There's a good chance they trade out of that spot if that happens, right? And they're asking for the booty though. They're asking for everything, right? So are the Giants willing to give all that up, right? To do that.
My question is, D-Kid, do you move him into guard immediately? Do you kick Evan Neal in? What's the plan? If you do get Fautanu there, we already know what they have at left tackle.
What's going on with Evan Neal, bro? Like, what's really going on, bro? I mean, what's up?
He looks overmatched, right? Where he was too much of a problem for collegiate defensive linemen.
Right.
It looks overmatched from a technical standpoint, confidence. You know what I'm saying? I just believe that you gotta exercise patience.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I see. There you go, D-Kid. Guard then tackle. All right. Okay. You gotta exercise patience with Evan Neal. I think he just needs better coaching. To be perfectly frank, there's a lot of pressure in New York. That whole offensive line struggles. It's not as if you turn into a veteran guard next to you that can help you out and. You understand what I'm saying? With Andrew Thomas out, You know what I mean? You're trying to help on the backside. It's just a perfect storm. It's a perfect storm. So, but he needs to get his head on right. You know, he was getting into it with fans and stuff like that. You're
what are you doing
now,
bro?
Man.
What are you doing?
You're professional now. You need to have some thick skin and get to work. Get to work. But I
think it's New York, bro. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, man.
Come on.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think back to your boy, man, the Denver. What's his name? He was a 25-year-old rookie. The tackle. His name's escaping me.
Garrett Bowles? He's about
Garrett Bowles, man.
Garrett Bowles?
It took Garrett Bowles like 3-4 years, man. But once the light bulb came on, he became a very good player. So that's why I'm not ready to give up on Evan Neal. I'm not ready to completely, throw the baby
Andrew
out.
Thomas came in that boy looking like
he struggled too.
What the hell was going on?
He struggled
the top
too.
offensive tackle for us, man. And he's like, what's going on? And obviously, it was coaching. It was definitely coaching there for him specifically. What the hell was going on there? But yeah, he's looking like a guy.
All right. Let's get into our next 10 picks. So Jared Verse lands to Florida State. The top 4 quarterbacks off the board. They're the only 4 that I really would feel comfortable taking in the first round. Bo Nix towards the end of the first round is a possibility. You want to take advantage of that 5th-year option. But the top 4 go in the top 10. So Florida State misses out on that. The next best option here was, in my opinion, is Jared Verse to continue to bolster that defense, that pass rush. I follow that up with Rome Odunze, right? I mentioned A.T. Perry and Chris Olave are the only receivers under contract in New Orleans beyond this season. I just want to stuff this roster with talent. It's another team that has some contract issues. The quarterback, Derek Carr, to me, that's a sunk cost. It's a sunk cost. You're going to have to live with that for the next couple of seasons. Yep. Let's just get some more talent on this roster.
Start stacking. Let's
start stacking it up. Let's start stacking it up. Yeah. And then, of course, as part of that trade with Seattle, Tennessee still manages to take, one of the top tackles in the class here in J.C. Latham. And I think, most would be comfortable with him at 8. You get him at 13 plus the additional draft capital. I think that works out well. We synced back up, right? We synced back up with Dallas Turner at 14. As I jump back over to your draft, you got to scroll down for me, my guy.
Oh, my bad. I thought you was gonna do it for me, but that's
not
possible.
That's not possible.
possible.
In your mock draft, though, Daniels did fall to the Falcons.
Yes, he did.
We synced up. We didn't sync up. You went with Verse to New Orleans. That's another area that they need to address. I mentioned the left side of their offensive line needs work. Hopefully, former first-round pick Trevor Penning is ready to play next year. And I would expect it to be at guard. Right. I hope he's ready to play because, we had our concerns about that selection. Very physical. He does some things in the run game, but he played at a very low level. And watching him in Mobile, you could see that technically he had a lot of work to do. So we'll see if he's developed, if he's ready to be a guy. Johnny Newton to Seattle. I don't hate it. I don't love it because he's not going to be able to necessarily pin his ears back as a 3 technique, but he's versatile enough to do whatever you ask him to do. We mentioned syncing up on Dallas Turner, and then at 15 you took Kool-Aid McKinstry. I think that's your first corner off the board. They're not mad at it. I actually went in a little bit different direction. Same position, different player. I went Nate Wiggins. I have the Texans trading up for Drazon Newton. As I mentioned, really wanted him to play that 3 technique. He'll be able to do that under D'Amico Ryans. That's scary to me. Will Anderson, Johnny Newton on the same D line. That's scary to me.
Jonathan Grenard.
Man. Chop Robinson is probably the last edge that I feel really comfortable about in terms of the first round. He goes to Buffalo. He got a Epinesa. His contract is about to expire. Von Miller's, legal situation, although, he's playing right now, I don't know how that's going to ultimately play. Plus, he's longer in the tooth. You know what I mean? Gregory Rousseau, I wish he would put on more poundage to that frame, play inside, but we'll see what happens there. I think you can never have enough guys who can affect the passes, so we go Chop Robinson there. I have the Jags actually trading up for Kool-Aid McKinstry, right? I've been really, really disappointed in that defense, right? It's not as if they haven't put draft capital and free agent dollars into it. It's just that they have underachieved. They have underachieved on the back end. I think some of that is because they're not really generating a pass rush outside of Jonathan Allen, but certainly could stand to improve at corner. And then Marius Mims and Cooper DeJean round out my top 20. You can see Terry and Arnold there at 21 as well. The Colts definitely need to find their cornerback, lock down at least one of those corner positions.
Yeah, where we stop at for me, I think we start at Dorless there. We got Nate Wiggins, need that corner position. The boy's hurting. Buffalo Bills really bad. I know you went edge there, so it makes sense. I went Keon Coleman here for the Bengals just because he pairs well with Jamar Chase, and then I'm thinking Jonah Williams. He could go offensive tackle there too, but I think Jonah Williams, he stays there. He looks like he's happy at right tackle, even though he wasn't happy that he got pushed over there
initially,
right? And then you got Cooper DeJean. That's Jake's pick. Jake, I got you, man. Don't worry about it. Could have went offensive line there too. I probably should have. The CPGM ways to build in the trenches. I probably should have went offensive tackle. There was plenty on the board to go there, but sometimes you just want to go left or go west. And Cooper DeJean. So, and then I got Cameron Kitchens here for the Bucks. Can do the interchangeable safety thing back there with Antoine Winfield. The Bucks is kind of in a weird position, picking 20 here. Not sure, based on what was on the board, what works in terms of a fit for them. So, I kept it safe. Went Cameron Kitchens, can't go wrong there. And then, like you did with the Colts, you went corner. I just went with you went with who you went with?
No, we sunk
up there.
One.
Okay,
we
sunk up there. And Terry Arnold. So yeah.
Welcome in, Daniel. Welcome in. See that you joined here.
Let us know who your team is, man. If you need to see that, who we drafted for your team.
Yeah. Let me jump back into my mock. We're at Minnesota now. We're expecting Danielle Hunter to be on his way. It's not that Leonard Taylor is an immediate replacement. Of course, Danielle Hunter is more of a stand-up edge in this particular defense. But I think just in terms of the down line, the Vikings need to improve that area. It was a consideration. I did consider Bo Nix here, but I did not go in that direction. I think Leonard Taylor's best football is ahead of him. Talise Fuaga, probably on the board a little bit longer than most anticipated, but this would be a dream scenario for the Steelers. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers perhaps move up if he slides a little bit, because you want to move Broderick Jones to that left tackle and really solidify this offensive line. When Pittsburgh was at their best, they had a dominant offensive line, right? Most recently, when they were a very explosive offense, the Killer Bees, it was in part, of course, they had a lot of talent, at the skill positions, but they had a very good offensive line, and they need to get back to that here. I went big to Vondre Sweat. Of course, there's going to be people who feel like he's more of a two-down player, as opposed to a three-down guy who can affect the passer. I think he has some pretty good pass rush upside. I don't expect him to be, 7-8 sacks. I'll take 4.5, 5 from him, and him be a dominant run defender. You know what I'm saying? But with that odd man front, I want him at the nose, just making it hell on guards and centers, man. 2-3 guys got to block him every play, and he still makes a play. You understand what I'm saying? So I really like that with an improving Denver's defense. Xavier Legette, I believe we synced up on this one. There's some volatility here. There's some bust potential because only one true year production, but the production was phenomenal. Yeah. And you cannot teach the size speed combination that he has, and it's not linear speed. It's short, intermediate, and deep, as I mentioned earlier. He can do it in all levels. He, to me, and the reason why I took him prior to Keon Coleman, you see Keon Coleman to the Bengals, I do like the pairing with Jamar Chase, so I made it happen just a little bit later in the draft. Leggett has a better shot of being the primary weapon in your passing offense.
Agreed.
Right? And I value that more. You know what I mean? I think he could be the go-to guy in a passing offense, assuming he puts it all together like he did in his final season at South Carolina. Excited to see him in Mobile. I mentioned Keon Coleman pairs very well with Jamar Chase. We know that the Bengals have work to do in terms of the receiver room after Jamar Chase, a lot of expiring contracts. And then Braylon Trice to Detroit. And I'm going to let you jump back in there, Drew.
Yeah, let me get back over here. Where did I stop at? Oh, I'm on the Vikings. So I went Chop Robinson here, talked about Danielle Hunter being on the out there. So just slide in Chop Robinson. Let's get it going. And obviously with the scheme, I don't know if he'll still be there, by the way. The defensive coordinator,
Flores.
Flores. I don't know
Yeah.
if he'll continue to be there, but
That would be a home run pick, though. That would be a home run pick.
It would, and they got to continue to have the pass rush because them boys run at zero, cover zero, and leaving guys on the island. So if you don't have the pass rush, that's going to look ugly. So, and then for the Steelers, you talked about in terms of being strong in the trenches, offensive line wise, they got to get back to what it is that they do. And we can do that with J.C. Latham as the right tackle and Broderick Jones as the left tackle. And then they got the other tackle who's a tight end, and Darnell Washington just get nasty and disgusting out there. And then for the Texans, I know you like Jerzon for these boys. I like him too, but he was gone, so we got the consolation prize.
Did you say it? You said, "Oh yeah." You're referring to the tight end. I heard something different. I heard something. different.
I mean, he's no. He's an extension
of the offensive line. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. If you don't know what that is, go watch that Steeler tape with him on the outside of the outside of the tackle. You're gonna be like, wait, is that another tackle? No, that's just big Darnell Washington. And then we got the consolation prize in Leonard Taylor for the Texans. You know, Jerzon was already off the board. I know for you went up and got him. You did the right thing. I did not. I sat back, and didn't want to give up anything. But
not a bad consolation prize.
No,
not a bad consolation prize.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, we linked up with Xavier Legette. Got to have some. They got to have some guys who know what the hell they're doing out there playing the receiver position, whether it be to catch the football, be where you're supposed to be, line up properly, whatever it is. Legette. The only concern about Legette is two concerns. One is, or I say three concerns. Just the totality of the wide receiver position, right? Just doing it more, seeing it more. I think going to Andy Reid, that might be something special for him. Staying healthy. And just seeing it again and again and again, and just being productive, like you said, it's a 1-year thing for him. So you kind of rolling the dice with that. But I believe that he can be that guy that Kansas City wants at the receiver position. And then Jacksonville here went Adonai Mitchell.
I like Mitchell.
Probably should have went corner, but I didn't really. I thought the receiver position was the better value here. So went with Adonai Mitchell. Plus he needs more love, man. And we'll probably find out here, come this playoff.
It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me if he ends up in the bottom of the first.
Bottom of the
first.
Like his game. Yeah. And then for the Lions, I went Kalen King here. I don't think D-Kid liked this pick, but, got to get our corner right. So I went Kalen King here, man.
I want to go back to the Xavier Legette conversation, and please do check out that video on the channel. Like and subscribe, comment. Let us know what you think. I think when you think about Andy Reid and his offense, right? Xavier Legette doesn't need to be a route running merchant.
No, he doesn't. You're right.
Right. I'd like to see him develop into one. That'd be great.
Correct.
That'd be fantastic. He'd be uncoverable, right? But I think because of what Andy Reid does in terms of scheming things open, and then a quarterback that can extend plays on top of that, actually excels outside of structure. I think he'd just be a problem. You're only going to be able to cover Legette for so long, and like I said, Andy Reid's going to scheme him open as well. You pair him up with Rashee Rice, who looks good, particularly after the catch. I like it, man. You got some big, twitchy, fast receivers out there to pair up with the big arm quarterback who, like I said, can extend plays, allow guys to uncover. I like it, and there's a certain level of confidence in terms of Legette actually catching the football, right? I know drops had proved to be a bit of an issue earlier in his career, throughout most of his career, to be perfectly frank. But the way he put it together this past season is incredibly impressive, and I hope to see him build on that. If I've talked about it previously, if he has a strong pre-draft process, he's going in the first round. Because the size and the speed is just it's too tantalizing. Those traits are too tantalizing for teams to pass up. As high as Jonathan Mingo went last year, early second round, I think Legette definitely goes higher than him if he has a good offseason. So looking forward to that. All right, let me jump back in here, finalize my picks. I mentioned Braylon Shrines to Detroit. I just think he's a good pairing with Aiden Hutchinson, right? You allow him to get after the quarterback. He harasses quarterbacks. He's one of the best in terms of affecting the quarterback in terms of pressures, and he's going to get singled up. He's going to get singled up with Aiden Hutchinson being on the other side. And Detroit doesn't seem to care if you actually set a edge, because Aiden Hutchinson refuses to set the edge. He's going to go get the quarterback. Anderson doesn't care if he allows the quarterback to contain. He does not care about that. So let those guys get upfield. Let them hunt. I had San Francisco trading up to get Graham Barton. I think it's an area that maybe people aren't paying attention to because San Francisco has been so effective as of late. But they need to improve their offensive line. I think Barton. It's hand and glove type of situation. His skill set for what they want to do in terms of their outside zone and having athleticism along the offensive line goes a long way. I make this trade because I want to get in front of Miami because I do think they'll also be in the market for a center. Of course, Barton is listed as a tackle here, but I think NFL teams really would like to see him at center. I pivoted to Brandon Dorlus with the Miami Dolphins. You know how we feel about Dorlus here at Couch Potato General Manager. I don't think it really matters where you line him up along the defensive line. He's going to go just make plays. Troy Fautanu, listed as a tackle, certainly can play tackle. If not, we'll kick him in the guard. But I think him and Tyler Smith long-term on that left side is quite a formidable duo. Perhaps a little bit different. I know D. Kit can appreciate it. Edgerrin Cooper, he's right there. I don't want to completely discredit Jeremiah Trotter. I think he's a very good football player. He's going to be a good pro. But when you start talking about traits and athleticism and combining that with instincts, I think Cooper gets the edge there. He gets the edge there. While Trotter is a more instinctive player, Cooper has the physical tools that, I think NFL teams, front offices, they're going to covet. And it's certainly an area of the defense that Philadelphia needs to improve, a defense that has underachieved this year. And then finally, with the 32nd overall pick, I took Josh Newton. I'd like to improve that secondary, although they're playing very well. A couple expiring contracts, and I want to see better from Marlon Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey, he's too inconsistent for my liking. I think Josh Newton will be a terrific Raven.
All right. My last was at 5 picks with the Eagles for the 28th pick. We went Fuaga here. Talked about in terms of. Oh wait, who'd you go with the Eagles? You went with who was it?
Cooper.
Cooper. Oh yeah. Okay.
Cooper at 31. I traded down.
You traded down. Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Fuaga. Look at that offensive line. Not that anything's wrong with the Eagles' offensive line, but they got guys can't play forever. So Fuaga would be that plug and play out there, right? Sense. And then,
if he's on the board there, bro, you got to make that pick.
You got to make that pick.
You got to make that pick.
That's draft malpractice if you don't. Unless there's another player that shouldn't be on the board as well. That's the better player, right? And then we got Michael Hall Jr. here. I just wanted to be a little different. I wanted to go down line. I just, had Chris Jenkins there. I think I had Sweat. I don't think Sweat came off the board for me. Had Sweat there. Had Mason Smith, and there was one other that I can't remember, but. I decided to go with Michael Hall here, give him some love. I like him coming out of Ohio State there. And then Edgerrin Cooper. Here I probably, I could have went another offensive tackle here. A lot of offensive tackles to go, but I went with defense. Edgerrin Cooper here. I really like him in terms of the fit. He doesn't leave Texas, and Dallas gets to see him eyes on as he played for Texas A&M. And then Amarius Mims, offensive tackle out here for the 49ers, making sure that offensive line stays together because that is we can talk about Deebo Samuels, we can talk about Brock Purdy, we can talk about the running backs there, but the thing that runs that offense is the offensive line. So we're going to stay with Amarius Mims here. And then D-Kit wanted me to trade out of this spot and not draft. He wanted the Giants to come up and get Fautanu. Did I say that right? Fautanu? Yeah. No, we're not doing that. But the Ravens probably do that, right? To be honest with you.
Yeah, it's certainly within the realm of possibility.
Yes.
How they like to move on the draft board. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be shocked if they stood pat.
He's there.
The value. Yeah.
But could you imagine at the end of the draft, he's there, everybody's coming up to try to trade for I would imagine I got to be honest with you, they probably trade out of that spot, to be honest with you. Because there's too many teams and they can just play them against each other. Okay, well.
Yeah. Highest bidder.
I'm getting a little bit more for that, right?
Highest bidder. And there's some good tackles still on the board after that. Yep. You got Kingsley. Yep. You got your boy. You
got Morgan. Jordan
Morgan from Arizona. Yeah. You got Paul from Houston. Your boy Guyton. Just accepted his invite to the Senior Bowl, by the way.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So that the offensive line group is really shaping up. It was already impressive, but it's stacked. It's stacked now. So Yeah, man, I can't wait. I can't wait to get the mobile. This was fun. We'll have to do this again. Let Headley get in here, and maybe we get 3 mock drafts going. You understand what I'm saying? It went quick enough. It went quick enough here, even with some trades. So we'll definitely give this another shot. I actually want to chop this up, create a standalone video for. So be on the lookout for this, so you can kind of digest this a little bit more, and let us know. Let us know down in the comments what your thoughts are in terms of our picks, our selection. What would you have done differently? What did we get right? What did we get wrong? All right. That's going to do it, man. Short show tonight. You know what I'm saying? You know, we like to go 3 hours deep, going to 3 hours of the morning, but nice, short and sweet show. We'll be back at it next Friday, same time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. The second half draft show brought to you by Couch Potato General Manager. Guys, take advantage of the Underdog Fantasy promo code TBGM. Click on the link in the description to X your first deposit. For Drew, this is Juice. We will see you next week.